Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of My Way, a Korean war film from 2011 that stars Jang Dong-gun, Joe Odagiri, and Fan Bingbing. A Korean man and a Japanese man begin as marathon running rivals, but then must serve their respective roles in World War II. So in May 1938, Jun-shik, played by Jang Dong-gun, is working as a rickshaw runner, and Koreans have been banned from taking part in sports events because they're under the Japanese occupation. And then there's a Japanese guy called Tatsuo, played by Joe Odagiri, who's a fierce Japanese nationalist, and he's sworn that a Korean will never again win a race in the country. He's been accepted by a medical college in Berlin, but Tatsuo decides to stay in Korea to run the All-Japan trials for the marathon. Some unfortunate events occur, and both of these men must fight in the war. Meanwhile, there's a Chinese sniper, Shirai, played by Fan Bingbing, who's avenging the deaths of her family at the hands of the Japanese. So one thing to point out, and I think this is an important thing to know about My Way, is that it is not historically accurate. Okay, there are certain battles and events that are depicted in ways that did not happen in real life. And there are also some, unrealistic events, even some contrived moments that are based on kind of coincidence. And because of this, I would not classify this movie as top-notch script writing. However, the premise of being forced to fight on behalf of your occupier is quite compelling from a dramatic standpoint. Being a Korean within the Japanese occupation of your country and being forced to fight for the Japanese in the war is kind of nuts, you know what I mean? And it creates an immediate tension and conflict. It also moves at a very brisk pace and kind of unpredictable in where this movie goes, and that's kind of what makes it enjoyable. There are some pretty crazy plot developments that unfold in this. It definitely holds your interest because a lot of stuff happens in this movie, and the story has many stages and progressions. And some of the battles are shown from perspectives that are kind of unusual as well. So, some of the historic battles are portrayed more as grand dangers that both men simply want to survive. And, it's not much of a spoiler really, but as the film progresses, they care less and less about who's going to win the war. And I found that to be pretty interesting perspective on that. And because the film is structured in that way, it kind of makes sense to tweak some details in history to kind of make it work within the context of this, particular story. And it's good. The ending is also emotionally resonant, I thought. Now, this was directed by Kang-ji-kyu, the man who directed Shirai and Taeguk-ji. And there's, lots of close-up shots, a good amount of shaky cam, and tight editing during the war scenes. Usually, I do not like this type of filming, but I think it works fine for a war film because you're really trying to express the chaos and violence properly, and I think it's good. There's one tank scene, a tank attack scene that's freaking nuts. There's another big set piece involving a snowy assault on an army that's hunkered down and bomb-destroyed buildings. The finale is pretty good too. Overall, I think the production values and the action suspense are good in this, and there's some pretty cool moments. There's one scene in the middle involving a single airplane that was pretty crazy too. But yeah, it's good. Performances are fine in this, and the leads are the standouts. Jang Dong-gun and Joe Odagiri, I think, give some of the most intense performances of their entire careers in this. They're both really good, actually. One of the actors from Battle Royale shows up, and he just overacts in the extreme. He should have dialed it back a little bit. But everyone else is pretty solid in this. So I think, if you're someone who could kind of forgive some historical inaccuracies in terms of how these battles actually went, I'd say My Way is a pretty strong recommendation. It is. It's currently available on Amazon Streaming. And as always, I'll see you next time.